Like it's a real
Is
question.
that a definition of racism?
No.
Well, they're controlling the system in the black community. They tell blacks when to think, how to act mad so we can bring in more bills, and they end up with the money.
That's not even true. What is he talking about? These so-called black leaders are telling all black people how to act and how to think and when to be angry. Because we all know angry black people are so evil.
So they're controlling the blacks. They're keeping the blacks here while they're living out in the hall. Are they racist?
Where'd you get this idea?
Well,
Like,
I'm
did
gonna
you make
ask.
that yourself?
No, are they racist? What I'm asking.
I like that. Where'd you get that? Did you make that up yourself? Yeah, because that's what Jesse Lee Peterson loves to do. He just makes up whatever, and you're supposed to refute it like it's somehow true.
No. Are black
And why are they
activists?
racist?
I said they're not.
Why is it they're not? They're controlling other blacks by keeping them financially in a certain area.
Who said that black social activists are keeping black people in a lower financial area? Like, where did you get
You don't
that?
believe that they are?
No, I mean, I'm a black social activist, and I'm not trying to keep black people at a lower state.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to empower black people
By doing what?
by giving them a voice and letting them be lifted, and like
How is that going to empower them?
to allow them. Okay, for example, I led like the Black Lives Matter march at USC.
Yeah, I want to get to that in 1 minute.
Wow, no, that's just crazy. How does having a voice empower people? It's crazy how. Is he just faking being this stupid? I mean, seriously. Being able to voice your grievances to the government is one of the greatest powers that uh, we as citizens are supposed to have.
But how would what you're doing empower other black people?
Okay, so I okay, I'm just gonna tell you this because I'm explaining how it empowers
Okay,
people.
well,
So
hold that thought for me. I want to ask you this first. Do you believe in capitalism?
to an extent, I believe you should have the opportunity um, to like build for yourself and for your future. At the same time, I don't think like at a certain point of like wealth that should still be like socially like acceptable. Like for example, billionaires, like to acquire $1 billion, you there's no person or like lifetime where you'll ever be able to spend or need $1 billion. So I don't think billionaires should exist like that type of money.
So
When
you
you're
work hard.
That is so true, in my opinion as well. Uh, at a certain point, these people have so much money that they can't spend it all in their lifetime, or even in their kids' lifetime. And usually, what they do with said money is buy politics. They like to bribe politicians. They buy bills. They have a large influence on the government, which is uh I forgot that one bill that was passed during the Obama administration that allowed basically unlimited contributions to politicians, claiming that uh, what money is free speech. Uh, well, anyways, that um pretty much allows rich people to legally buy off whatever politician they want, which we know politicians do accept bribes and will craft bills in favor of certain people. Or, if you look at revolving door politics, there are very wealthy people of certain businesses that will become a lobbyist or a CEO. I mean, a politician, and craft bills favoring the type of business that they run, and then they will leave.
Hard to get into USC. You got your little degree. You work hard. you think somebody should tell you, once you get X amount of dollars, you need to stop, you're not allowed for that?
If I have a billion, I'm never going to
Should they
reach.
stop you before you get to a billion? Let's say you do get to a billion.
I'm
Is
not
that-
going to reach a billion because
Why not?
I'll never need that much money.
So
Nobody will ever.
you won't do it?
So
Because-
if I'm reaching that much money, at that point, I'm have more money than I'll ever need and that I could ever use.
Right.
Like I could buy with $1 billion, I could buy several yachts
Right.
and like just burn them and then get a pile of money and burn that. If I have more money than I'll ever need, then that should be like given to people that are less advantaged. So
do you have a
That is something I agree with as well. A lot of these extremely wealthy people, like Jeff Bezos and others, who have been making money hand over fist during the pandemic, they could easily give a bunch of money to people, and it would not actually affect them whatsoever. Even if it's just like, you know, a couple $1,000 to every single American. Jeff Bezos did that. It would not scratch any type of net wealth that he has. These people could easily end poverty and homelessness and everything else, and their wealth would not be affected. Yet they wake up every day and decide not to. If I had an extreme amount of wealth, I would be giving a lot of it away. Though I would also be creating businesses that would be helping people and not businesses to exploit those.
right to have as much you want, or should someone be able to tell you, you know, you work too hard, you are making too much money, you better stop now? Do they have a right to tell you that?
I don't think they need to tell me that.
Or do they have a right to tell you that?
They don't need to tell me that because I think as a moral human being, you should understand that if you have, let's say like I have no water and you have gallons of water, you're just going to sit there and hold your gallons of water even though you'll never be able to finish drinking it and let me sit here with a cup of with no water in it?
Would it be wrong for me to do that?
Yes.
Would,
Oh, yes, yes. Morally speaking, yes, because you're watching people die that you could easily help, yet do nothing to help them whatsoever. Especially when it comes to various life needing resources like food, water, medical stuff, shelter, and all that. The fact that they don't help whatsoever when there are, various crises that they could, easily mitigate. It's pretty morally repugnant.
would it be my fault that you can't get water?
I mean, if you have that much water and I have no water,
Would it be my fault that you can't get water?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's your fault, but if you
Well, if you set up measures to prevent said person from getting access to water around them, like let's say you buy the land touching the water and make it private, and then charge people to access said water, well, that denies a person access to a essential resource. Or let's say a corporation ends up creating a contract with the officials, allowing them to pump out as much free water as they want, and then charge the citizens for said water, while also fining said citizens for using water during a drought.
If it's not my fault, then why am I wrong for not giving you my water?
because you have the means to,
But why am I wrong for not? You can get your own water. What's wrong with you?
I mean, if there's like social constructs preventing me from acquiring
But
water.
nothing in your way from work hard, go get your water. Dig a hole.
This is like the bootstrap mentality.
What do you mean?
That doesn't work.
Oh.
You're saying like if I work hard enough,
Okay, let's go with the just get a shovel and dig a hole, metaphor, for, work, and you'll get what you want. Yeah. Let's say, uh, Jesse is the only person that has shovels, and he's charging for said shovels. Well, it's going to be a lot harder to dig that hole when somebody is denying you access to a shovel due to a paywall.
Then I will become a billionaire?
Yeah.
Okay, so like,
Are you saying in your affirmation that you won't?
no, what I'm saying is if I was to become a billionaire, I wouldn't keep all that money to myself.
Right, but you have a right to do it if you want to,
But
right?
I wouldn't want to. It's a moral
But you
standard.
do have a right if you want to.
Sure, if you want to keep
And no one has a right to tell you that you can't.
okay, if you want to keep $1
Do
billion,
anyone have a right to tell you, as hard as you've worked already, do anyone have a right to tell you you shouldn't make $1 billion?
I wouldn't want to make
No, that's
$1
what
billion.
I'm asking. Does anyone have a right to tell you that you don't have hardworking you're a rapper, you got 4.3 average, you graduated from USC, you're a go-getter. Does anyone have a right to tell you you don't have a right to make $1 billion?
I think people have the right to tell me that it is morally unjust for me to have that much money and
But
not.
do they have a right to
Mm, Technically, as a society, we could make it a social taboo for somebody to hoard an extreme amount of wealth, just as we make it a social taboo for people to hoard a large number of cats or a large number of random objects that they stack from floor to ceiling inside their homes. Uh, it's just something, I mean, technically, in today's society, yeah, you could say, uh, people do have the right to amass as much money as they want, uh, because it's socially an acceptable thing to do. But if we made it a something that's not socially accepted, these people would be more willing to uh, help out other people or donate their money or do something so that they would be considered a socially accepted as well by society instead of considered um, instead of someone that would be ostracized for breaking said social norms.
tell you that you can't do it?
I mean, they can't tell me that I can't do it if I already have it, but I never
No,
will.
do
is
they
what I'm
have a
saying.
right to tell you you're going up the ladder now? Do they have a right to tell you that you can't make $1 billion?
I'm not gonna make $1 billion. That's
I
the
understand
question.
that. You're going to keep it with the black people. But do you have a right? Do they have a right to tell you you can't make $1 billion? That's what I need to know real fast.
It doesn't matter.
I know,
what
but just
people
answer
tell.
that, then we'll get to the
Yeah,
other
they
side.
have a right to tell me that. Sure.
To tell you that you can't do that. You're a hard-working individual. They have a right to tell you no. You
Yeah.
got to stop at this amount.
They have a right to say that. Yes.
How much? At what amount should they stop you?
What do you mean?
At what amount do they have a right to tell you to stop?
They have a right to tell people. To
No, you. At what amount of money do they have a right to tell you stop it?
stop making money.
Yeah, you have too much. You need to stop.
Sure.
How much?
I mean, they can tell me that I need to stop whenever they want.
And they have a right.
Yes.
And would you stop?
I mean, at a point when I feel like I have more than I need.
No, when they tell you to stop, you have more than what you need. Would you stop?
If I feel that I have,
No. If they tell you to stop, you have.
Man, he's not even letting him actually answer the question because the very first part Jesse doesn't like, so he has to interrupt and repeat himself.
Have more money than what you need. Cut it out. Would you stop?
Okay, do you want me to answer that?
Yeah, just answer that.
Okay. I would stop if I felt I had more than I needed. And then I would begin my journey of like bringing other people up with me that
But
are disadvantaged.
if you don't feel like you have more than what you needed, but they do, and they tell you to stop, Would you stop?
No, I'd keep going so that I can successfully give back to my community. Because if I don't have enough money to sustain myself, then I'll never be able to uplift the rest of the community.
And you think you can do that with money?
Yeah.
Technically, you don't need money to do that. All we need is access to goods and resources, which it's money is just a paywall to those uh, goods and services, which with today's technology we could easily provide with automation. Automate. We could slowly start to automate various factory jobs, warehouses, and stuff, and then automate uh, various consumer businesses, retail places, fast food chains, and stuff. And everybody could easily get access to the goods and services that they need. This is the end of this part. Peace.